Hello, Nikke fans! Welcome. We finally have the full drip marketing has been dropped for the new Nikke Arcana, and we're gonna have a look-see. Basically, we're gonna start with the video, the motion demonstration that we can see here on YouTube for the HD version. Let me make sure that it stays that way. All right, let's have a look. I will say she is so pretty. I love the colors. I love the white color. I love she has a shawl that's very, very pretty with some lace there. I love her hair color. She's so cute.
Secret has brought us closer together. Promise to keep it that way.
I love everything tower related as well. Is that a rocket launcher? It is. Okay. I think a lot of people are gonna be upset because I think I will say I think she looks cute, and I know a lot of people play Nikke because they like to goon. I would say that I think the shooting animation is not going to be gooner enough for a lot of people. So I think some people are going to be disappointed with that. I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll get a cool skin, but yeah, some people are not going to like that for sure. I think it looks fine. I want to see her burst animation. Oh, so pretty! Oh, that is so... Dude, she's so precious. What the hell? Dude, she's adorable. Apparently, she also, forgot her memory, I think, and she wants your help. Dude, she's adorable. Holy crap. Okay, so my expectations were, first of all, I think her animation looks fine. I think that ulti, that burst animation looked really, really cute. All that being said, I think what I was expecting for her is that she was going to be a burst 2 support, basically. So let's have a look-see. She's a burst 2 support. Yay! We cooked, chat, as called in my last video. We were right. All right, let me zoom here. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna be a bit smaller to not hide as much. And we're gonna read this together. So first and foremost, she's a type 2. She's a supporter, rocket launcher, burst skill, electric. As always, it's impossible to guess what type characters are going to be. I thought she was going to be a water code because of all the blue. But no, she's electric. It is what it is. 6 ammo, blah, 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 blah. Alright, let's check her skills. I'm actually gonna go on the left side, so there we go. I think that's better. Yeah, it's better. Alright, so skill number uno. Awaken Destiny. Passive, okay. Activates when full burst ends. Affects all burst 3 electric code allies who previously cast their burst skill if self is in Wheel of Fortune status. The Magician cooldown of skill 2 lowers by 75% for 15 seconds. Attack damage increased by 180% for 15 seconds. Okay. Activate when full burst ends. Affect all allies. Attack increased by 5% of caster's attack for 10 seconds. I know a lot of people are probably going to look at that and feel like 5% is a bit low. It's not that bad. Especially considering that that's on top of the attack damage increased by 180%. So... And because those are 2 different multipliers, that's actually going to be pretty good. Because you got an attack multiplier, and then you get an attack damage multiplier, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay. And she lowers the cooldown of skill 2. Which can definitely be nice for characters that have skill 2 that not passive, or that have a long cooldown time, right? So that's very interesting. Cycle of Destiny, skill 2 passive. Activate when full burst ends, so same as before. Affect all burst 3 electrical code allies who previously cast their burst skill if self is in Wheel of Fortune status. Strength attack increased by 180% of caster's attack by 15 seconds. Okay, so it's literally the same as what we had here from the Magician, the second line of Magician. Activate when 4 burst ends. Affect all allies if self is in Wheel of Fortune status. So it's either all allies who previously cast their burst And here, the second one, Death, is just all allies if Self is in Wheel of Fortune. So this is not specifically electric code allies. Death, cooldown of burst skill lowers by 6 seconds. It's pretty nice. Yeah, we like some cooldown reduction. Activates when full burst ends. Okay. Affect all allies. Attack damage increased by 6.5 for 10 seconds. And obviously, part 1 and 2 stacks, like this first skill and second skill, clearly. So basically, you get like cooldown of skill 2 reduced by 75%, cooldown of burst skill reduced by 6%, attack increased by 180 here, 180 there, attack damage increase, so that potentially 360%. Is that real? That seems high. And then attack damage increased by 12.5 seconds, percent for 10 seconds. So that's a lot of buff. That's a lot of buff. And here attack increased by 50% of caster's attack first 5 seconds as well. So basically, if you're not in Wheel of Fortune, you're only buff 7.5. If you are in Wheel of Fortune, you get the massive attack increase here. And this is attack percentage, this is not attack damage here. While Magician is attack damage. So there's a lot of buff, but it all depends on being in the Wheel of Fortune. So you can see here, bottom left, burst skill, Shackle of Destiny, cooldown time, 40 seconds. We hate them 40 seconds, it is what it is. Now, I think I can understand why. The idea is that a lot of ability are apply if the burst 3 electric code casted the burst skill previously, right? Like in here, for example, and in here as well. Which means that if you want to make sure to be able to buff both of your electric code burst 3 characters, you do one rotation where the first burst 3 is going to use their skill, and then the second one on the second rotation is going to use their skill, and that's when you use Shackle of Destiny. That's going to buff both of them. She's going to tell Wheel of Fortune and all of that, right? So, yeah, basically, when she doesn't cast her ability, when she won't be in Wheel of Fortune, she'll be buffing the entire team by 12.5%, basically, from those two passives, right? But when, after the second rotation, she's able to cast her ultimate, then all of her buff are gonna apply at the same time, right? Which is very nice. Now, the ultimate itself affects all electric code allies, Wheel of Fortune, attack damage increased by 10% for 10 seconds. And then we have affect all enemies, deal 300% of final attack as burst skill damage. Judgment, damage taken increased by 10% for 10 seconds. We have some damage buff. She both buff her team and just amplifies the damage the enemy receives, which is pretty nice. So overall, I think on paper, it's not that bad, actually. I think she's pretty good. Obviously, cooldown, 40-second cooldown, that's not going to please everybody because most people don't like to run 2 burst 2, but I think there's definitely opportunities, there's definitely options here, in my opinion. If we look at like some of our burst 3 characters, there's obviously gonna be some characters that benefit from that, like, you know, Scarlet, like, what's her name? Like Scarlet, like, Cinderella, those characters are gonna enjoy this a lot. Even Ayn, I'm a big fan of Ayn, actually, I really like her. So, like, all of those burst 3 characters can definitely benefit from her. I know a lot of people are very excited for, they're very excited for Isabelle. But realistically speaking, I think you probably, if you get her, you probably want to play her with Cinderella, Scarlet, maybe Sparkling Summer Anis, those kind of characters. But it's definitely an option. It's not that bad. Now, the thing is, like, in terms of burst 2, I mean, you can play with Naga, you can play with maybe someone else that has a burst for the cooldown, like Flora, who's, I think, a healer. So, or even Biscuit if you want to play Biscuit, right? There's definitely some options in here. I mean, Biscuit used to be very, very good. She's still good for PvP, so I guess you can play both of them together in PvP if you want to. But I feel like in PvP, you probably don't want to do that. If you play in PvP, you probably only want to have one of them because you probably won't be lasting more than 2 bursts, more than 1 burst, I meant to say. So there are ways to do that. I could see a team being decent with something like... What if you do like Rouge to buff Electric? So maybe like Rouge, Blanc. So like Rouge, Blanc, Arcana, and then, you know, like Cinderella and Scarlet, for example, right? And then you put like Blanc on the left, Rouge, no, that would be like Blanc, Arcana, let's say Ein, Rouge, Cinderella. That way Rouge is gonna buff both Cinderella and Ein or Scarlet. And then, but I think the only problem is that if you do autoplay, with this team specifically, you'll never get the burst from Arcana. Unless you want to put Arcana on the leftmost slot, but in that case, she'll burst first, which is not what you want because she's gonna be buffing both teammates. So if you don't want to have that problem, in that case, you want to play a second burst 40, a 40-second burst 2, so you don't run into that. But I think it's fine. If you play manually, you can definitely get around that. So yeah, I think overall she might be okay. But obviously, regardless of how good she's going to be in the meta, I do want to reiterate the fact that she is not a limited character. She's going to be in the wishlist, and we are about to get a collab very soon for Stellarblade, as well as the limited characters for summer events. So, I know she's great, but I would say maybe do a 10 pull max and just wait for her to be in the wishlist. This is the best thing I can tell you in terms of advice. Don't pull for her. I know she's great, but don't pull for her unless you have, you know, expendable income. Alright, let me know what you guys think. Do you think she's gonna be good? Are you gonna be using her in your electric teams? Leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!